Hey guys, Greg Silverman here, CIOs and Bow Ties. This is Mr. Bentley, our latest family member, and they're known as what is known as pandemic puppies. Anyway, they say puppies get more likes on videos, so here's our little fella. Okay, weekly summary, roundup of some news and good articles that everyone liked. This one I liked was In Defense of Small Cap. It talks about how small cap value has been absolutely crushed by Russell 1 growth. Over the last 10 years, 5.09% versus 15.19%. That's on a compounded basis, 5 times better in Russell 1 growth. This is due to that kind of movement towards smart beta, factor beta investing, where small cap basically got crowded out, got overinvested in. Rob Arnett from Research Affiliates talks about how this could be a structural change in the market. As soon as you hear the word structural change, with all due respect, run the other way. That just means that you're at the extreme end of one cycle. So Russell small cap growth small cap value may ultimately make a comeback. Here's another interesting article, how COVID has changed allocations to private equity real estate. 2019 was a banner year for private real estate, raising a $992 billion in AUM, that's with a B, during the year. Now, obviously, the usual suspects, demand for retail is down, demand for hospitality is down, demand for logistic real estate, groceries, for example, is up. To give you an indication, Q1 2020, 76 billion in transactions versus Q4 19, 114 billion in transactions. Most of Q1 20 was actually crowded out by a multifamily sale to a Blackstone fund, which was a Japanese residential apartments for $2.73 billion. People saying multifamily is somewhat cyclical independent. We shall see about that. Obviously, private real estate is a long-term investment. So fluctuations like this are not hugely meaningful. But then again, we are seeing, again, the word structural changes. This case may really well be structural changes as it relates to the reshaping of the office sector. That may definitely change. And obviously, online delivery, which means warehousing and storage, might do a bit better. Okay, another interesting article, 30-year crude oil prices in a chart. We'll put the link down below. It's really cool. I love seeing charts and, events and, parabolic moves. 1998, we saw $10 a barrel in oil. 2002, during the Afghanistan war, that was post 9/11, we saw oil take off again, go north of $35. And why that's important is that was a significant breakout in the oil prices to make a high ultimately in 2008 at $142.52. And you remember that was when they talked about peak oil, or that was the end of peak oil, wasn't it? 2015, we had the U.S. oil shale business on full crank, full tilt, sending oil prices back down to $30. And of course, in 2020 now, you had the negative $30 event, albeit briefly, which certainly took it to all-time low. So that's a cool chart, and you should check it out there. Cannabis, nice article on cannabis. It talks about three stocks to watch. We're not stock investors, public market necessarily. We're certainly not advocating stocks. I'm not going to mention many names, but some interesting tidbits here. We've seen very strong growth in the cannabis market, specifically because it's deemed a necessary business, and yet the valuations have been crushed. So that's a nice arbitrage, as it were. There are a number of multi-state operators known as MSOs with less than 1 billion in market cap. And for example, I'll mention one name, Harvest, which is, I think, concentrated in Arizona amongst other states. Harvest is looking to have $200 million in 2020 sales, and they are currently trading at 405 million market cap. So 2 times revenue for an extremely fast-growing business, notwithstanding regulatory issues and all that stuff. But it is still pretty cheap, and there's some others in the article that I mentioned which are even cheaper, believe it or not. As they say, specifically for Harvest, that as Arizona looks to go recreationally legal, that could bump up their sales in 2021 by $50 million alone. The Safe Banking Act, which basically eliminates cash for these companies, that is kind of tucked away in the next stimulus plan, and that may be a big deal for a lot of these cannabis companies, maybe even reigniting a bit of a rally, if you will. Lastly, we had a great interview with a gentleman by the name of Nick Gregoriades, who's a fellow countryman from Cape Town. Nick specializes in the coaching, men's coaching, essentially. And why that was interesting to us is because we feel that trading and investing is very much a psychological game around coaching. So Nick draws some parallels towards his coaching clients and towards making you a better investor. And we'll put that down below, a link down below. So anyway, guys, that's our roundup for the week. And I hope you're all well, taking care, and we will speak to you soon. Peace and love. Greg out.